Hey Scribblers, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Gountanis, author of the Landscadron Mystery Series, now available on Amazon in ebook and paperback. I release a lot of writing and publishing related content on my channel, so make sure you subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Alright, in today's video I decided to do a demo all about Amazon book ads. So I just recently started tinkering with some Amazon book ads. I started at the beginning of December 2020, and here we are approaching the end of December and the end of the year. And I thought I would do sort of a basic tutorial how to create an Amazon ad campaign for your book or for your series of books. So I'll go through how to create it, and then we can talk about some of these metrics that you see up here with the graph. So the first thing you need to do is log into your Amazon advertising portal. So there's two ways to get there. You can either do it right through your KDP account. You click on marketing, and then you click on the US market, for example, and then it'll take you right to this page. Or you could just go to Amazon advertising.amazon.com and you can log in with your login info that you use for KDP. So those are the two ways to get in, and of course before you can even run a campaign you do need to have a book that is actually released. So you can't run any sort of ads for books that are to be released. It has to be a book that is actually out and that is available. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you want to do to run your first Amazon ad campaign for your book is you click Create Campaign. And there's going to be a few different types of ads that you can run. Sponsored product ads, sponsored brands, and lock screen ads, which are generally reserved for Kindle e-readers or tablets and that are on the lock screen. So for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to go with sponsored product ads. I have not tinkered with any of these other two, but quite frankly, the most common ads that you will see for books are the sponsored product ads. Whenever you're typing in something in search, those ads that pop up at the top and right under the also buts are the sponsored product ads. So let's go ahead and choose sponsored product ads. And this is where we go through the nitty-gritty of setting up our first ad, or campaign as they call it in marketing speak. So first thing is the name, and this is where you want to be as descriptive as possible in order for you to have a clear way of differentiating amongst the ads and comparing and contrasting ads. Because whenever you start going down this rabbit hole of running ads, usually it's beneficial to run more than one ad so you can sort of compare perhaps what keywords are working or what ad copy is working and so on and so forth. So if you title all the ads the same, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to analyze those ads and to have any meaningful data from them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to title this TNC, that's The Night Contract, the first book in my Landscadron series, so that signals that this is going to be an ad for that first book. Then I like to put whether I am going to do auto-targeting, where Amazon picks the keywords and the products that they think are similar to my book, or manual targeting. I recommend manual targeting because you can more specifically hone in on readers that could be in your audience based on similar titles, similar authors, similar genres, similar themes. So I'm going to put manual targeting. And then if I am doing a campaign based on, say, other authors that are similar to my work in the mystery genre, for example, then I usually initial those authors' names, or if I'm doing specific keywords, I will differentiate them with initials. So for purposes of this demo, let's just pretend that I am going to be targeting Harlan Coben readers who also are readers that like witty, gritty mysteries, kind of like the series that I write with Lance Gedrin. So what I would put here is HC for Harlan Coben. And the next thing that I like to put in my campaign name is whether I'm going to include ad copy or whether I am going to just have it be a normal ad with just my book cover. So that's another thing to differentiate, because you want to test out whether certain ad copy works. So it's beneficial to put in your title whether this specific campaign has ad copy or doesn't have ad copy. So for purposes of this example, let's just put ad copy. And then the last thing I like to add here is what is my default bid or my cost per click for all the keywords that I'm going to be picking. So I tend to start very low, and this is something that I just sort of was gathering from reading up on Amazon ads and watching some other people talk about them. I've gathered that it's always good to start low, and then you can eventually just tinker with the bids for each of the keywords. So instead of starting with a ridiculous like $1 something a keyword, you can start with something very simple. Let's just do 21 cents, and then I'll put bid. So that's my campaign name. I know it's a little bit long, but then when I go back and I analyze it later, it would be very easy for me to compare and contrast with other ads that I'm running. So the next thing is, when is it going to start? So let's just say it starts today, December 28th. And end date, I never put an end date. I just want to have these ads sort of run their course and see if it's going to get any traction. So some people in the Amazon ad space, some of these people that have gained a lot of success in it, seem to believe that an ad isn't even going to start percolating or registering in the system for at least a week or two. So some people recommend just to wait it out at least those couple of weeks before you decide whether to pause it or mess around with your keywords and so on and so forth. So that's one of the reasons why I don't put an end date. Now, I do recommend that even though you do not put an end date, that you do check your ads daily. That's a way to just make sure that, say one of your keywords didn't just go crazy and a million people clicked on it and you're paying all of this money per click and no one's buying it, and then all of a sudden, you're reaching your daily budget just like that, and then everything is going haywire. So I'd just say that have no end date, but do check your dashboard daily. Now, the next thing is the daily budget. And this is the maximum amount that you're willing to spend on each campaign per day. Now, keep in mind that the maximum amount is very seldom reached at all. So I have been doing about 20 bucks a day, 19 bucks a day, and each day thus far, this month that I've been doing Amazon ads, I honestly have not even surpassed I have not surpassed even like $1 or $2 a day. So a lot of it's going to depend on your keywords. A lot of it is going to depend on how competitive your bids are, and so on and so forth. So don't be afraid to set a daily budget that is, say, over 10 bucks, over 15 bucks, over 20 bucks, because chances are that budget is not going to be reached in any sense, especially on your first few ads that you're running and that you're sort of using for research purposes. So let's just put, for purposes of here, $21 for the daily budget. Now for targeting, kind of like I spoke about earlier, I like to do manual. I do not want Amazon to pick the keywords for me. Now, if it's your very first ad, maybe for research purposes, you want to just do one with automatic targeting, and that way you can compare and contrast how that ad does with ones where you specifically pick the keywords and do your research. But after you do that, it's usually better to just specifically hone in on authors or keywords or themes that sort of gel well with what you're writing. So let's go ahead and do manual targeting. And then the next thing you'll see is the campaign bidding strategy. And I like to keep it at dynamic bids down. And basically what that means is regardless of what you're bidding per keyword. So say for example, we are bidding what we had put earlier, the 21-cent bid, and we'll get into the specifics of how to put in that default bid. But basically what that means is if we're bidding 21 cents for each keyword that we put in our list of manual keywords, Amazon in real time will lower the bids based on how they perceive it as likely or not likely to convert to a sale. And there's a whole bunch of algorithms at play and a whole bunch of confusing things that I haven't even tried to wrap my head around. But basically what that means is your bid could possibly be lower than what you say it'll be. So if we bid 21 cents on a keyword and Amazon determines in real time that that keyword is really a 15-cent bid or whatnot, then you might get a click at 15 cents as opposed to 21 cents, and you saved a little bit of money there. So I like to keep it at dynamic bids down. Dynamic bids up and down is where Amazon can raise your bid, maximum of 100% in real time. I have not messed with that in any way. I'm new to AMS ads, so I really don't feel comfortable with Amazon upping my bid in real time, but with them lowering it in real time, that's just a lot less risk, and I'm a little bit more comfortable with that, and a lot of people in the AMS ad space kind of recommend dynamic bids down. And then fixed bids, I don't even know much about fixed bids, but apparently they're indicating here that they'll use the exact bid that you put. So in our case, it'd be 21 cents, and it would never move from 21 cents. So keep it at dynamic bids down, and then move on from there. Then ad format, and this is where, like I spoke a little bit about earlier, you can have ad copy, which is text next to your book cover, or you could have a standard ad with no ad copy, and it would just be your book cover that's popping up. So for purposes of this, let's do custom text, which is our ad copy. Then we have to choose which products we're going to advertise. So I have the first two books in my Lance Gedrin series out right now. I have the Night Contract as well as the Fink. But what I like to do is I like to drive the traffic to book one. And if people buy book one and they like it, then I'm going to get a decent amount of read through to book two, and that is going to be great. So I haven't thus far advertised book two. I've just been driving that traffic to book one. So that's a strategy to consider. If you do have a lot of books out in the series, perhaps you drive your ads towards book one, but of course you can also drive traffic to individual books and just kind of tinker and analyze and see how things go. So I'm going to add the first book of my series, The Night Contract, for Kindle, and then I'm also going to add the paperback. So once I've added that, I go down to targeting, and you can either put keyword targeting or product targeting, where you choose the specific products or brands, but we're going to just keep it as specific keywords. So whenever you do an Amazon ad for your book, if you're doing manual targeting, where you are selecting the keywords, Amazon allows you up to 1,000 keywords per campaign. And Amazon recommends that to have better success with the ads, that you do have a substantial amount of keywords in that campaign. So it's not really going to be beneficial if you have only 100 keywords if you are allotted 1,000. So a lot of times what I do is I have compiled lists through Publisher Rocket, and I can do another video on that. And I have analyzed certain authors and certain keywords related to the genre or subgenres that I write in. And basically, I just copy and paste those keywords right into this campaign here. And I try to get as close as I can to 1,000 per campaign to try and maximize my chances of that ad gaining traction, because you never know what keyword or phrases are going to gain traction. And just the more you have out there, the better chance that you have to gain a little bit of traction. So that's what I would say. Try and take advantage of the 1,000 keywords that you're allotted. So for purposes of this demo, I'm not going to like paste any of the keywords in. I'm just going to type in some of the keywords so you can get an idea how it works to add them here to the right side. But that's something to keep in mind about maximizing the 1,000. Now, before you go into adding the keywords, it's going to ask you how you want your bid. Do you want it to be what Amazon suggests? Do you want a custom bid for each individual keyword that you pick? Or do you want a default bid for all of them? So for right now, let's do default bid. And you can already see that Amazon is sort of suggesting that we bid 75 cents based on some of the keywords that it's picking up from my book. But we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it low, and we're going to do 21 cents. And, chances are not many keywords are going to hit at that low rate. But I feel like the point initially, especially if you're starting out with AMS ads, is to start low and experiment and to really try and see what gains traction and what doesn't. Because if you're bidding the 75 cents that they're recommending, or you're bidding the 79 or the $2.21, number one, you're not really doing a lot of experimentation as to what keywords could be more profitable for you. And number two, the higher and higher you bid, chances are you are going to be losing money, because one of the sort of standard conversion rates that a lot of people talk about for AMS ads, say you have a great cover and some good ad copy and a good blurb, a lot of people in the AMS ad space say that on average an ad will convert on approximately 1 in 10 or maybe 1 in 15 clicks. So that's sort of the average. 1 in 10 people or 1 in 15 people that see your ad will actually result in a paid sale. So you have to sort of keep all of that in mind, because if you're bidding $3, for example, per keyword, you can quickly do the math that $3 a keyword times however many clicks, you are quickly going to be losing money. And especially depending on your royalty structure, it's definitely not going to bode well, because, for example, $3 a keyword, if it takes you 15 clicks to get a sale, you just paid $45 to get one sale. And most authors that are using AMS are on 70% royalty, but even on a 70% royalty, you're making a few dollars a book. So you're spending $45 to make perhaps $3 to $5. So you can quickly see that it doesn't make sense. But if you start very low, say at 21 cents, and you gradually raise it by a few cents depending on what the ads are showing after a couple of weeks, then you can find hopefully the sweet spot and become profitable with AMS ads. So That's for the default bid. Now you also want to keep broad, phrase, and exact checked. So what that means is depending on the keyword that you put in. So for example, say you put in the woods as a keyword. It's going to be in the system as the exact phrase the woods. It's going to be in the system as woods. Could be in the system just as the or something like that. But you stand a better chance of getting a little bit of traction if you aren't just limited to the exact phrasing of the keyword, if that makes sense. So just keep all of these checked. So let's go down, and here is where we want, let's go back up, and then here we want to enter our list. So click enter list, and this is where you can manually paste in the keywords that would apply to your book. You can take it out of an Excel spreadsheet and just paste them right in here. You can do it from numbers if you're a Mac user. But for purposes of this demo, I'm just going to type in a few keywords so you get an idea how they're added here to the dashboard. So we're targeting Harlan Coben. So obviously we're going to put Harlan Coben as a keyword. We're going to put his Myron Bolitar series, his Myron Bolitar character. Tell No One is the title of a book that he, is very well known for. One of the names of the characters in his Myron Bolitar series is Win, and so on and so forth. So once you have the list that you want to add, you just click Add Keywords, and then you can see that they were added. And because I did broad, phrase, and exact, those 5 keywords were really 15, the way that they added it. They added it broadly, they added it exact, they added the phrase. So that's how you add the keywords. Now we're going to go down. Now the next section I think is also very important. This is where you put in keywords that are negative, that you do not want to be a part of your Amazon ad campaign. So this is where you want to have it negative exact. So let me give you an example. So when you're running an ad or about to launch your campaign, say you want to weed out readers that are just searching for free books. Maybe your book isn't free, maybe your book is $3.99, $4.99, and you want to sort of do away with some of those readers that are just browsing for free. So this is the spot where you can specifically put that in as a negative keyword target. So let's put free books, free book, free ebook, free ebooks, free Kindle book, free Kindle books, and then maybe if you're doing paperback, free paperback and free paperbacks. And let's add those. And those were added successfully. So it's great to just give yourself the best possible chance to weed out some of those Amazon browsers or customers that are not going to be likely to purchase your book. So we don't want people searching for free books or free ebooks if our book is not free. If you are doing a perma-free or you do have a free book, then maybe you want to include some of those keywords up in your regular list like we spoke about. But if not, then you want to put it in your negative list. And then here under creative, this is where we can get into the specific ad copy. And under here is the preview pane, and it's going to show you what it would look like when somebody sees our ad, our sponsored product listing. So I like to sort of get into the personality of my main character a little bit, but I also like to keep it short and sweet. I don't want to have a lot of characters, and as you can see, you're only allotted 150 characters anyway. So the ad copy that I've used so far this month, and it seems to be doing decently, is the following. So I put Meet Gedrin, heavyweight champion boxer who loves pancakes, in trouble. So it's kind of a witty ad copy, and it kind of gives a little bit of a sense of who the character is and perhaps what readers can expect when they read my mystery series. So once you see what it looks like, if you like it, then you can go ahead and launch your campaign. I'm not going to actually launch the campaign, but that is how you would do it. Once you do click launch the campaign, you will get a message from Amazon that your campaign is being moderated by, I guess, the moderation team. That's basically just lingo that Amazon is reviewing your ad to make sure it meets their policies. You can't have, certain themes in it or certain profanity and little things like that. So once they review your ad, then it will go live and start delivering impressions. So for me, once I have clicked launch campaign, just to give you an idea, I get that message that it's with the moderation team, and then for the most part, in a few hours, then I get another message from Amazon saying that it is now accepted and it's delivering impressions. So that's how you do an Amazon book ad. Now let's go back to the dashboard, and it's going to ask me if I want to save it. I'm going to just leave it because I'm not going to actually run this campaign. It was just for demo purposes. But let's go back to the dashboard, and here is the hub of everything that is happening. So if I scroll down here, all the blue are my active campaigns. So as you can see, I've been running some different campaigns this month, all with the night contract, driving traffic to my first book. They were all different dates, but I tried to, for research purposes, put certain ads with that pancake ad copy. And then lately I've been tinkering with similar keywords but no ad copy at all to see if there really is a change out there. But that's how you can see whether your ads are active, whether it's blue or not. Down here you'll see I had two gray ones that are paused, which is essentially means they're archived or they're not active, they're not delivering. And then the other indicator that the ads are live, it will say delivering here in green, and Amazon will tell you that your campaign is enabled, and whenever it's delivering, that means that it's live and eligible for impressions, which means how many times Amazon is showing your ad to people on the site. So then if I scroll up a little bit here, you'll see a graph with how much I've spent for the period of time that I'm filtering. So here I just have done the month that I've been running these ads from December 3rd to December 28th. How much I've gotten in sales from these ads for this particular period, and ACoS, and this is another really important metric to keep track of, whether it's your first ad or whether it's, say, your 100th ad, and that is how much does it cost you per sale? Like, what's the percentage of your advertising that you're spending here? So as you can see, Amazon tells you the percentage of your sales that you spend on advertising. So if you have a 70% royalty structure, ideally you would want this ACoS to be below 70%, because you don't want to be losing money, right? You don't want to have an ad that costs you, say, $15 to get a sale when you're only getting $3 or $4 in royalty from that one sale. So you always want to keep track of this metric, and this is another reason why you want to start with some low bids, so you can avoid this ACOS spiraling out of control. Now, there is a school of thought regarding the ACOS being a little bit above 70. If you do have a longer series, then you can sort of afford to have a little bit of a higher ACOS because you're going to get some read through to the subsequent books. But I think by and large, it's good to just keep it under 70 if you can, or keep it under 30% if you're doing the 30% royalty structure. So keep an eye on that. Now, the other metric is impressions, and impressions are basically how many times your ads have been shown. So here it's indicating that my ads have been shown this month 57,198 times. Now, I feel that number is a little bit low, and people are kind of all over the board on the exact metrics of this, because I have heard people say that you need at least 2,000 impressions a day to gather any sort of meaningful data. I've heard others say that you want to shoot for 50, 60,000 a month minimum. Some people say 100,000 a month. So I'm still kind of learning this as well, but I feel like the impressions right now are a little bit low. So that is signaling to me that my keywords are not competitive enough right now. My bids are a little bit too low and they're not getting enough traction. So then I can go in later to my individual ads and I can adjust bids for specific keywords, but that could be another video for another day. And then another metric that they will put here is how many clicks have you had in the last 30 days or whatever that time period that you're filtering out here. Because obviously if you have tons of impressions but 0 clicks, then you're never going to get a sale, right? So ideally you want to have a large number of impressions, which leads to a decent number of clicks, and ultimately which converts into sales. So it's good to always check your dashboard and to always sort of be apprised of what's happening with your ads. So even if it takes a week or two for your ad to gain traction in Amazon's system, I would still check your dashboard every day just to make sure that your spend is not ridiculously going out of control. And then of course you can see with each individual campaign, if you go all the way to the right, what the spend has been for that campaign, what the sales have been for that campaign, and so on and so forth. And then you can even click each individual campaign and look at what people are searching for, and you can really get into the weeds on that. But I think I'll save that for a more detailed analytics video perhaps about Amazon ads. So there you have it, how to run Amazon book ads. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments for other writers out there, leave them down below. I really enjoy hearing from all of you, no matter where you are on your writing journey. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. It's a way for YouTube to see if my content is resonating with other writers out there. So there you have it. I'll see all of you in the next video. And as always, keep scribbling.